All right, well, we might get started. So I'll be recording this session for later reference as well, because we do want to make sure that no one misses out on this. So this presentation is called How Virtual Assistant Can Help Your Business Grow. And yeah, this is something that we've put together based on the Phone Manager service that we've launched last year. So let's get started. I guess a little bit about us and what we do. My name is Alexi. I run a Google Premium Partner agency. I have been doing that for quite some time. I've been in the industry for nearly 20 years. I also run a bunch of different businesses, and I do a fair bit of business coaching. Daria, and some of you may have been in contact with her already, is our project manager, and she looks after the Phone Manager project and also is in charge of all the operations. All right, let's chug along. I guess some of our clients are companies like trades businesses, manufacturers. We work with some cleaning companies, online stores, and starting to do some work with professional services. Overall, I guess we've got quite a diversity of businesses, but yeah, there's a bit of a commonality in terms of the problems that we're solving for them. The agenda for today's webinar is really to do with things like, I guess I want to go over things like business growth as an overview, and look, I guess this is my reflection on how I see things. Obviously, there could be a few other ways to look at it. I want to go over Phone Manager, the tools that we use for our clients. I want to go over a particular case study where Phone Manager has really helped boost the business. And then I guess, yeah, how Phone Manager works and working with a Phone Manager. And getting reviews. That's one of the hot topics at the moment because quite a few businesses seem to be struggling with it. And in the end, we'll do questions if you've got it. So let's move ahead. I guess with every business, you've got four very distinct areas that sort of come up all the time. So it's marketing, sales, operations, and accounting. Look, there's many ways to look at it, but essentially some of the areas you may be able to delegate, like marketing, for example, you may be able to engage a marketing company. But when it comes to things like operations, doing the actual business, most of the time, it's mainly you. Now, most business owners, as you would probably agree, end up wearing too many hats and doing too many things. And as a result, something falls through the cracks. So I guess what we really have looked at is what are the areas that a business owner has the actual strength around, and what is it that could actually be delegated, and how can we potentially make this all work without things falling through the cracks? I mean, a lot of the time people run a marketing campaign, but they potentially are forgetting about things like reputation management, which is where the reviews come in. And I'm sure reviews, while it's quite a simple process, can be quite complicated in terms of getting them from your clients on a regular basis. In terms of sales, a lot of the time we end up talking to customers that are just not the right sort of customers, and that qualifying process can really save a lot of time. We found that phone managers coming in and taking care of some of those things have really been quite instrumental to a better conversation with the client. Quoting, while most of this is usually done by the business owner, we found that the follow-ups as a result of the quote have been, absolutely key in order to get the business on business one. And the whole onboarding process is, it can be quite difficult for some businesses, and potentially having someone walk a person through what a business is really helps to create that long-term customer relationship. I mean, if you look at simple businesses like cleaning, for example, the good businesses are the ones that provide quality customer service and have got a bit of a process to assist the customers with their needs, changing their appointments, following up, changing cleaners, and so on and so forth. So while these things can be quite simple, they do take a fair bit of time. So moving forward, I guess the ways to grow a business in the simplest way is to focus on the right services, the 80-20, right? So every business has got 80% of its revenue generated by 20% of the services. So it's, this principle, which is called the Pareto Principle, comes up quite a fair bit in business. Most like 80% of the revenue generated is done by 20% of the people in the company. And I guess there are many ways to look at it, but if you were to focus on the services in your business that were profitable and you could scale them, you'd grow the business. You can also grow your business by systems and people if you were to automate certain things, or potentially save a little bit of time on communication by using a workflow system or a appointment booking system. And obviously by hiring and training people, that's the easiest one. Customer retention is one of the things that a lot of people forget when it comes to growing business. It's much easier to always sell to your past customers as opposed to acquire new ones, which is why revisiting your past transactions is a great way to get people on board without having to market and sell again. Upsells, plenty of businesses forget about upselling, and I think it's at the end of the day, it's all about that revenue. Strategic partnerships, most businesses would know that referrals is the best source of work. However, when it comes to getting those referrals, it seems to be single occurrence as opposed to an ongoing sort of thing. So strategic alliance is a great thing that you could potentially do with other businesses in order to get the consistency in the work. And I guess overall better sales process definitely allows for you to be on top of optimizing the actual business growth as the work comes in. So these are just some of the, I guess, obvious ways to grow your business. And look, we can drill down into any of these areas, but potentially what we found is that there are parts of the process or potentially lack of process in these areas that has prevented a business from growing. And Phone Manager has been quite powerful way to actually resolve these things. So, when it comes to the problems, I guess most business owners are poor on time, or potentially may not have systems or processes in the first place, because a lot of the time we do things is quite intuitive as opposed to quite systematic. We may not have enough people, and that seems to be the trend for the last couple of years. Everyone's just gone somewhere and we can't find the right people. Or, the actual exercise may not get you the return on investment. You hire somebody and you expect them to produce an outcome, and they just may not be there in terms of their performance or the actual role itself. This is a big topic probably within itself. I've been speaking to a number of accountants, and it seems to be that the common understanding is that your employees need to be producing at least 3 times their salary in order to keep the business sustainable, to cover all the costs and make it profitable. I probably agree with that. That's probably the absolute least, but a lot of the time people don't look at the return on investment when it comes to having staff or people to resolve particular problems when it comes to revenue growth. Or potentially experience. A lot of the time business owners just don't have the experience in certain things, and this is where they're really needing a lot of assistance. So yeah, these are just some of the problems that I think most business owners come across when they are wanting to grow their business. So why Phone Manager? I guess the common problems for all the businesses are things like incoming calls. I mean, you get bombarded by calls all day, every day. And at the end of the day, I think here are some of the key things that businesses really need to focus on. Qualifying inquiries. If you speak to a person who's inquiring about your services first up, it's very important to understand that they're the right sort of customer. And if they're not, it's a matter of either educating them or potentially, saying no, because at the end of the day, this could be a long process that will take a lot of time. So doing this takes a ton of time. Booking people into appointments. Most of the businesses have a 2-step sale process where there's an inquiry, and then from there's got to be a meeting or some sort of a further conversation. And this typically requires a process, and doing it manually just ends up with people not showing up, and using something as simple as Google Calendar can really save a lot of stress. And I guess things like basic customer service talk, which really varies a lot of the time, where after a particular interaction is done, is there a follow-up? Was everything clear? Was everything received? Was everything understood? That follow-up process in a customer service sense, I think, is key to keep people on track. And when it comes to follow-up more specifically, I guess we're talking about things like sales and quote proposals. And this is the key to win a business. If you just send a proposal and don't follow up on it, there's 50% chance you're going to win it, if that. Majority of people actually say that it's the second or the third follow-up that wins the business. So doing that all yourself certainly is time-consuming, but it's certainly very effective. Invoice payments, and this is really to do with cash flow, is the key in terms of follow-ups. And a lot of the time people may have their payment terms. They may be paying their suppliers once a month, or they may potentially be missing payments or having issues with something. So those follow-ups are key to have the cash flow within the business. And Google reviews. Now, This is a big one because the marketing from Google reviews is essentially your reputation. And I think if you ask yourself how many times have you chosen a particular cafe or a provider based on Google reviews from complete strangers, it's quite a decision maker these days. So uh, I'm going to walk through a bit of a system later in this presentation as to how we get reviews and how the phone manager potentially can help. But I think having Google reviews as a part of your follow-up as one of the key processes is very important. So what Phone Manager does, I guess, and look, let's go through what Phone Manager is all about, because I guess the name could be deceiving. Essentially, it's a virtual assistant service where we actually find people and train them up to help businesses manage things like inbound and outbound calls. And I guess the trend that we find, it's more to do with receiving those inquiries, qualifying them, answering emails, doing things like social media, even helping with quotes, and then also understanding, I guess, some of the basic customer problems and being able to resolve them as well. We typically do this by getting a business a local phone number, and we use a virtual phone number service, which I'll mention in a couple of slides. And from here, we get businesses into systems to manage their contacts, appointments, and to do all sorts of notifications. For example, if it's a trades business, there are some specialized workflow systems that are used. For cleaning, I'll go through a system in the case study today. And I guess most importantly for the business owner, it's about getting daily reports as to what's been done and potentially what's needing the attention. We found that delegating some of these base processes to a phone manager, as we like to call them, really takes the hassle out of running a business, and potentially allows the business owner to focus on the things that are mainly important or where their strength is. Here are some of the tools that we use for our clients, and I guess it's about understanding these products and having clients that use similar tools, which really allows us to sort of drill down and get further training on how they actually work, and even partnering with the services. So at the moment, we are getting our partnership set up with ServiceMate, which is a workflow system specifically for the tradies. Essentially, it's an appointment booking system, which allows you to book businesses quotes and even jobs as well, with all the details. So rather than having to communicate on every single topic, a business would basically schedule things through ServiceMate, and this way would manage the actual projects. ZenMate is a very similar sort of product, but specifically for the cleaning industry. This is a system that does all the SMS notifications to the customers, as well as the contractors that are being engaged by the business. And I guess GeoNext and Tradify are other systems specifically for the trades. That seems to be the majority of the businesses that we work with. Some businesses just use CRMs, things like Capsule or Pipedrive, for example, and we have extensive knowledge of that. So the system that we use for the virtual phone numbers and the whole phone system is a system called VoIPline. It's a Melbourne-based company. It's great. You can buy a local phone number for 65 cents and essentially set it up on the $20 plan to have unlimited calls in and out. And that phone number can be used from anywhere in the world. So we source guys specifically around the Philippines that have prior experience in appointment setting and customer service, and for them to use that is it's just really a no-brainer. We use Google Workplaces quite a lot to manage the actual emails and calendars and everything else. A lot of the time, the phone managers do things like data mining or data scraping, if you like. So for example, if you want to do like a B2B campaign, they can basically get a database of potential prospects for that. So that's all about that strategic alliances. There are, I guess, some CRMs that could be a little bit too complicated for us, but most of the time, the processes to follow are very, very simple. And with phone managers, we essentially want to take off things off the business owner's hands that are just taking way too much time, or that are needing to be minded. And I guess a lot of businesses don't really do in the space of email marketing, things like ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, or MailerLite are all great tools that we use to send out newsletters and email blasts. And essentially, if you want to look at a phone manager as a whole, it's basically a person who fills in where things fall through the cracks. And if you don't have a system, that's fine. This is something we can certainly advise you on and help you set this up. Like I said, we do partner with a lot of these providers. in order to be able to get the right training and also understand where those systems are developing and what else is coming up. Many of the systems change all the time, and they do sort of extend into different markets and potentially have various integrations that do help with a lot of things. Just about all the systems integrate with email marketing software like ActiveCampaign and MailChimp, which make things a lot easier. All right, so let's have a look at this case study. This is about a business called Homestyle Cleaning, which is a domestic cleaning here in Brisbane. And I guess the problems that they were really having was it's all about staff to manage. Overall, they've got staff, they've got clients, they've got contractors. To keep things simple, here's a client, the person that needs cleaning. Here's a contractor, the person that goes out and does the actual cleaning. They needed the whole thing to be managed, and they were starting to use ZenMaid, but they actually needed somebody to drive the whole thing. And essentially, there were a lot of sales calls coming in where people really want to book that first clean to trial something out. And with my marketing background, we sort of helped them establish that initial customer offer, which was 10% off your first clean, just to sort of trial the system. And the phone manager is the person who actually now runs this business, because before they tried to do it in-house, took a lot of time. And as you can imagine, every time a person wants to reschedule something or cancel a clean, or let's say a contractor is calling in sick, it's just a lot of small talk. It's just a lot of it's a lot of micromanaging, and essentially people just aren't potentially happy. And another thing, I guess, is that there are some organizations like NDIS or DVA which requires some further documentation every time there's a transaction, customer onboarding. It's just this business is essentially insane to run for a business owner themselves, not to mention things like social media, Google reviews, and all the accounting and reconciliation. I'm sure some of you may be able to relate. And I guess, as you can imagine, the biggest problem is cash flow. So for a business like that, not to get paid on time, not to be able to pay contractors and stuff was really just prohibitive to run. So I guess in terms of a solution, we sourced the phone manager by the name of Anna, and trained her up specifically with ZenMaid and all the key processes around this particular business. She's also done a little bit of training in Xero in relation to just reconciling and making sure the payments are coming through. So this isn't taking over the bookkeeper or accountant. This is specifically to look after payments coming in. That was it. We also help them set up Stripe payments to make sure they can actually start getting payments through the invoices as they're being sent out. And we also help them configure the actual credit card fee on top of the actual amount that we're charging. It's not a difficult thing to do, but if this is something you're struggling with, hit me up. I'd be more than happy to share this with you. And most importantly, look after the inquiries and the follow-ups. Now, the revenue for this business over the last 6 months has actually doubled as a result, because the business owner was actually able to focus on things that she thought were more critical or more important. The phone manager is saving about 30 hours every single week. And this business has become sustainable in the sense that things have stopped falling through the cracks. It's not like something gets forgotten or not done. So everything is on track with this particular business, and they've got the capacity to grow even further. Now, this is the Google My Business listing with the 77 reviews, which have been coming in quite consistently. And yeah, look, while you can't keep everybody specifically happy, it's a matter of making sure the most are happy, and most importantly, this business with this particular profile comes up #1 in the area where it's actually located. So yeah, phone manager has been absolutely instrumental to this business growth and health. Otherwise, sometimes you'd be running a business where it just doesn't make sense to keep going with it the way it's set up. This is a screenshot from I actually took that yesterday from ZenMaid, the software that they're using. So yeah, just over the last month, they're expecting 17% growth in the revenue. And like I said, it's doubled. They've got 85 recurring customers, and yeah, this business is moving forward strongly. This is what their schedule looks like. And essentially, the phone manager would be looking at booking this schedule and making sure it's all followed up. I mean, if you're probably running a different business, you would imagine that this is quite a lot of work. On the background, I've actually got another system for a different business. This is the Homestyle Fish Ponds, a sister company of this business where someone's managing and booking that side of things. At the end of the day, you really want a phone manager to take care of all these operations that are taking a lot of time, where you're providing customer service and keeping everybody happy. So who is a phone manager for? I guess a simple way to look at it is busy entrepreneurs. There are a lot of businesses that are running way too many things. I'm one of them. Tradies, definitely when people are on the tools and are unable to sort of follow through with some key customer service processes, whether it's onboarding, selling, or basically something that happens after the job is done. Online stores has been a big one. I run an online store that is fully managed by a phone manager, and the number of questions people have, it's absolutely amazing. And I found that, personally, there's nothing more frustrating when placing an order through and no notifications coming through email. The first thing you obviously want to do is call up that store and have a chat to them. Well, majority of online stores don't have a phone number. So I thought I didn't want to go down that path. So I actually set up a phone number on my online store, and we receive about 25 or 30 calls every single day. People asking about the product. They're asking about, where their product is, when to expect it, and so on and so forth. So while it's really simple thing that we're doing, it's really helping increase our sales. So online store owners, I think, should definitely consider phone manager as a solution for the basic customer service and sales as well. B2B campaigns, that's a big one as well. And look, there's many ways to approach this, but at the end of the day, it's all about setting appointments. It's all about that, prospecting, creating a database. And, to keep it simple, where are people falling through the cracks with their processes? I find that things like social media often get forgotten. I find that, people don't follow up on their emails. If people are running events, the key is really to get some feedback afterwards. Things like website chat on the website, I find that's a really helpful tool, and especially a lot of the time now with the shortage of staff in most companies, it's a simpler way to get through to bigger organizations like the banks, for example. So having that on your website certainly helps. And even running things like surveys. If you've been in business for a while and you're looking to change things, conducting a survey can really help you get the right feedback in order to make some adjustments within the business. So I guess working with phone manager, what does it actually entail? What we do to help businesses learn about them is we do a discovery call. And this allows us to understand how the business runs, what are some of the key processes, what are some of the key problems, and what can actually be delegated. We also try to understand the strengths and weaknesses of the business owner to see exactly what they want to focus on themselves. And oftentimes, look, it's a bit of a back and forth to get this right. We help find the right sort of people. And like I said, we mainly work with guys from the Philippines, because I find the work ethic, the English skills, the communication, it's all there. I mean, these guys, have got quite a good background on the whole thing. And I find that training them, virtually is quite simple when you sort of understand the business quite well. The problem is where the business hasn't got a defined process, and that's a different kettle of fish within itself. And then I guess once we place the person in a business, from there, it's all really about quality control, making sure that you're assisting these people. So we have a weekly call with our phone managers. We try to get all the feedback. We go through, I guess, problems, and we try to address, some of the commonalities. And we encourage our phone managers to mentor one another. And I think this is what makes us different from other companies, where we create that community behind the scenes, so we can always create the best outcome for our clients. For example, a couple of our guys are absolute guns when it comes to Google reviews. So we get them to share their processes with the rest of the team to basically do that for our clients. So essentially, our service becomes all about managing the phone managers that manage other businesses, if that makes sense. And I guess it's also about filling in as well. If a phone manager is unwell, or there's something that's happening, we always are able to find a replacement, or basically a substitute for that person. So that's essentially what working with a phone manager is all about. If you want to book a free demo call, here's a link right there. But essentially, what we're going to do is we can show you how the business works. We'll take you through a case study that is similar to your business. But I guess the key for us is to learn what your business is and what it does. We also want to put together an action plan in terms of what's required from us and run that by you. And this month, we're actually offering 50% off setup fee, and you can have a look at the pricing on the website, thephonemanager.com.au. What I thought I'd also put in there as well to make things a little bit simpler is a subscription to a service that we actually built called Happy Clients, which is normally $47 per month. Happy Clients is a system that we developed to get Google reviews, and I'll go through the process in the next couple of slides, by the way. And one other thing, I figured that after looking at a couple of dozen businesses, majority of businesses really struggle with Google Business Profile Optimization. Now, this is something that we do as a part of my main business, the digital marketing agency that I run. However, I thought I'd offer this as a part of the phone manager setup, because the front of the business, the Google My Business locally, it's the reputation, and you really need to make sure it ranks and works for you as well. And one other thing, I guess the whole thing doesn't quite work without a website, so I thought I'd chuck in a website critique in there as well. So if you want to book a demo call, these are the things that we're offering if you choose to go ahead with a phone manager and give it a crack for your business. At the end of the day, I guess it's just about trying to see if you can make a difference and really make your business grow. So if you've got any questions on this, we're going to do questions a little bit later in this presentation. So getting Google reviews. Now, I know a lot of you have come here specifically for this side of things. And look, while this isn't rocket science, there are a lot of things that are often missed. And first of all, to get Google reviews, you need to ask for Google reviews. Now, depending on your industry, this may be complicated. Now, if you're in allied health, like physio or chiro, asking for reviews is quite a cumbersome process. However, there is a bit of process as well. But for most businesses, to get Google reviews, you need to ask for Google reviews. The second thing there, it's all about timing. Once the transaction has occurred and the person's happy with your service, this is a perfect time to ask for reviews. We call these things milestones. And look, Google reviews doesn't have to be about a finished transaction. Someone could be really happy with what people tell them on the phone, the advice they give. Potentially, if this is about a cafe, the actual environment as well. So don't think about Google reviews as something that gets done specifically upon transaction. There's many more milestones that you can actually do that at. Simplifying the process. Now, if you ask anyone to leave a Google review, most of the time they'll say, yep, they'll do it, but they never do. And the reason being is the whole process is a bit too complicated. People need to find your Google listing. They need to click through to the link, leave a review, and often that requires authentication. Unfortunately, there's no way around the whole registration to Google. However, if you're doing it on your phone, most of the time you have a profile connected to your phone that actually allows you to bypass that thing because it's already there. We found that sending an SMS is a much simpler way than sending an email. So if you do that, you're going to get a better response. And make sure you make that SMS personalized. Don't just send a cold email with a link, but make it specific. Hi, Alexei, we appreciate your business. Could you please spend a couple of minutes to leave us a review? This would make a huge difference. And they review it. Something like that would work a lot better. Now, most importantly, follow up. If you don't follow up on this at a later stage, because a lot of the time people look at it and go, this is pretty cool, but I'm not sure what to write. Following up on that actually gets the result. And this is what we found with phone managers, when they can jump on the phone, follow up and say, hey, by the way, are you happy with our service? By the way, we sent you this review link. Have you had a chance to look at it? We'd really appreciate it if you do it. And most people do it. And make sure, from the other end, you respond to reviews as well, because people appreciate some sort of feedback. And managing negative reviews, which is another huge topic, is all really about your response to the reviews. But I feel if you follow this process in terms of being proactive, get the timing right, send them an SMS and make it super simple and follow up on that request, you will get a lot of reviews. And most of the reasons why people don't have reviews, because they don't do any of this. So I guess Google reviews is a huge topic, and the whole Google My Business thing is a huge topic as well. So what I've actually done is I've put together another webinar in 3 weeks. And look, I like to keep these webinars fairly short and fairly informative to provide a lot of value to you guys. I really want to focus on things like Google Business Optimization, if you want to do something like that yourself. And I guess strategies for getting reviews. There's obviously things like what I've described. There are other things like QR codes. There's a ton of different things that you can do. But at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to get local rankings. And we're going to go through some tactics in that workshop as well. Managing negative reviews. Now, this could be a huge topic for a lot of people. You know, obviously pros and cons there, but definitely something we're going to go over, and a case study as well as to where we can make a business rank and get a lot of inquiries as a result of all this as well. So this is going to be in a few weeks. If you follow the link in this presentation, you'll be able to book, and I'll be happy to share the slides with you. And what I'll do to make things easier is I'll send you a follow-up email with the event link as well, so you've got it in your email. Yeah, I guess I'd like to really finalize this webinar with a quote from Nora Roberts. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. And this is the thing with Google reviews. If you keep things silent and assume that everyone's just going to leave a review, well, you know what? You're probably going to get negative reviews, unfortunately, because people, when they're unhappy, they're apparently 18 times more likely to leave you a review as opposed to people who are happy. So you really need to incentivize and start the process with the general transaction that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. So questions, let's go through a few questions and see if anyone's got anything about this presentation, Phone Manager, or maybe one of your, well, your business or anything in particular. I've got a few people, so I'll ask the question here. Anastasia, do you have any questions for us about your business? We've obviously come across your business in the past. You run Able Media Link. Is there anything you want to ask specifically about Phone Manager? Not sure if there's a problem with some of the connection, but anyway. Greg, do you have a question, mate? There may be something happening with my Zoom. It's all saying ask to unmute, but anyway, look, if everything's pretty straightforward, I guess I'll send the slides from the presentation here. And if you have any further questions, happy to chat with you individually or do the onboarding for you. I hope you found this informative, and if you want to get in contact with us, visit our website or give us a call. Yeah, I mean, we're here to help, and at the end of the day, if there's some processes that you guys need put in place, maybe we'll be able to point you in the right direction. Have a great day, and yeah, hope this is helpful. See ya.